John is down on the field. He's got an interview. Here's John.
Yes, I do, Gary. Thanks very much. You know, some interviews are just more fun to do than others. Schools like Lafayette and Delaware pride themselves on producing students and athletes. Student athlete, that's our calling card. The man with me to my right takes that to a whole different level. I'm here with Drew Brown, Dr. Drew Brown, that is. Drew, Lafayette fans will remember, an outstanding linebacker in the mid-2000s, and is now a assistant professor of Africana Studies here at Delaware. So he is Dr. Drew Brown. Drew, first of all, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me. It brings me back here. I have some great memories at Lafayette and some bad ones being here on this field as we lost in 2005, I believe it was. And I stand in kind of the same spot where I think I picked up a penalty in the fourth quarter. So ironically, we're here again.
Some memories are better than others too, Drew. I remember the linebacking crew that you were part of, those great teams, 2 Patriot League championships. But before we get into that, let's start at the beginning. Lafayette is a liberal arts college. You went on to become a PhD in Africana Studies here at Delaware now teaching. What stimulated you? Was there an aha moment in your life as an undergraduate at Lafayette?
Absolutely. Given my experiences growing up as a scholar athlete or as a student athlete, having to deal with both sports and my educational pursuits, the things that I dealt with, the professors that I had, really gave me a passion for doing that for other people. When I look out in the world and I see, people that are struggling and people that face oppression and poverty, I really wanted to make an impact on the youth specifically. And what better way than to be in a classroom, doing the research and doing the work teaching to develop and help young people.
You know, Drew, it's when guys like me stand on the sideline and watch you as a linebacker just ferociously taking people's heads off, it just seems a little incongruent that to talk with you and discover just how your mind works, how deeply you think about things. It's kind of cool. Talk a little bit about your associations at Lafayette, and now you said in the classroom here at Delaware, you encounter a lot of athletes yourself.
Absolutely. So I was a passionate player when I was at Lafayette. I bring that same passion to the classroom. To be passionate about the things that I teach, to be passionate about the process of knowledge and education and all of those things. I think that my students really appreciate that here, especially my student athletes. I mean, I was a student athlete myself, and so I can relate to a lot of what they're dealing with in their experiences here at University of Delaware as student athletes, especially when it comes to finding mentors and having people that can legitimize our experiences, that I bring a certain level of credibility to the University of Delaware when dealing with student athletes.
Well, I don't mean to, suppose anything, but I thought about credibility just as you were saying it. So if a PhD can think along the same lines as me, I'll take it. Drew, when you were in school, Brian Washington was one of the professors that you talk about as having inspired you. He wanted you to be a professor. You said no way.
Yeah, so I want to honor Brian Washington, great professor, introduced me to so many great scholars and writers, Henry James and W.B. Du Bois, James Baldwin and whatnot. And I was sitting in his class after I had gotten drafted to the Canadian Football League, and he says, Drew, why don't you just put the football down, go be a professor somewhere, go to grad school, go get your PhD and go be a professor. I said, sir, when I leave this campus next week, I'm probably never stepping foot on another college campus again in my life. And here I am, probably going to be on college campuses for the rest of my life.
and Drew, from Lafayette to Temple for your PhD. Before that, master's work there as well?
Africana, yes.
Okay. And what was your major at Lafayette? And when did the light bulb go off that, yes, this is what I want to do?
Sure, I was an economics and business major at Lafayette, had some great economic and business professors. I went on to do my master's and my PhD in Africana Studies. Now I teach in Africana Studies at the University of Delaware. My goal in coming in is I really wanted to focus on issues that were affecting people that were in poverty and people that were marginalized, alienated, and oppressed in our society. And so I wanted to focus on those types of issues, and I found that Africana Studies allowed me and equipped me with things that I could use as tools to gain that sort of access.
And again, now your time at Delaware, and we want to do this because, Drew, the tapestry of your life has been woven with both blue and gold of Delaware and maroon and white of Lafayette. Talk about the student athletes here at Delaware. You knew what it was like in your formative years at Lafayette. Talk about the parallels here.
Certainly. So coming from Lafayette and the education that I had at Lafayette, it really did prepare me for the things that I'm encountering now. University of Delaware is a great school here, a great institution. Just getting to know know the new athletic director here. Also still working and communicating with the athletic director at Lafayette College. I think that both schools and both institutions are great institutions, especially when it comes to developing student athletes. The student part is what I'm really concerned with when they step into my classroom, and I'm great to be a part of not only this institution, but coming from a great institution as well.
You know, there's so many parallels to coaching when you teach. Has a student ever come into your classroom in whom you see yourself and say, I want to do for this kid what Brian Washington did for me?
Oh, absolutely, all of the time. I have tons of, I'm thankful that I'm able to teach things that a lot of students are interested in. I teach race and sports in American society, and so a lot of athletes sort of gravitate to not only my classes, but to me as a professor. And so I see a lot of myself in the students that I teach now. And so I think that for me, seeing them grow is very rewarding for me, because I see myself there.
How many years now at Delaware?
This is my second year at Delaware.
And I know that, what's that saying about God laughing while we're making plans? But despite that, what does the future hold for Drew Brown?
Oh, the future is great. Continuing to do my research, focusing on race, sports, adding in gender, adding in culture as well. So I'm looking to continue that research, continue my research projects, continue to develop courses and work with athletic departments, particularly University of Delaware, working with the athletic department here to see what we can cultivate to make the well-being of student athletes a lot better.
Incredible stuff. A Lafayette question now. Are you staying in touch with some of the guys you played with, Drew? I remember that era. I remember guys like Mo White, who's a little upset that you're getting more airtime than he is right now. But Deion Witherspoon and Blake Costanzo, who played in the NFL. We were little Penn State at the time. You guys formed a tremendous linebacking crew.
Yeah, I really appreciate those guys. Those are the reasons what makes Lafayette, a lot of it special, and a lot of great memories. Maurice Bennett, Deion Witherspoon, Blake Costanzo, myself. Andy Roman was in the room at the time when we were there in our senior year.
He was just a puppy.
Certainly. Brandon Stanford, who was my four-year roommate and former four-year roommate and now 16-year best friend. We got our PhDs together at Temple. And so me and Brandon are certainly like brothers. Romar Drake is another one. Just some great people at Lafayette that became brothers over time, and certainly I still hold in my life now.
Well, here's a word to the wise. The next time you watch a football game and you see somebody wearing a mid-50s number running around like a madman on the football field, taking people's heads off, remember, underneath the helmet, there's a lot of substance. Drew, I can't tell you what a pleasure it's been. It's so good to see you again. Congratulations on everything you've done. Continue onward, and don't forget us.
Thank you. I didn't do it alone, so I appreciate all those that have invested in me and look forward to me in pursuit of my career.
That's what it's all about. Thank you, Drew.